What's up? What's up? Early morning, All Star Saturday morning. Some of y'all don't know about that. Stay in school jam. Y'all don't know about that. Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Here again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button. Sub to the channel if you're not a member. And also hit some notifications so that you're able to get all of my content, all of my videos. Now, I disagree with what Candace Parker said. Now, let me explain something to y'all real quick, okay? I got a lot of respect for Candace Parker, um, and as a basketball player, and she does a tremendous job as an analyst. However, we know good and goddamn well that there's an agenda, or certain agendas that are being pushed, and there's ladders that you have to climb. But if you don't know, and I want to give a shout out to uh, two individuals who were instrumental in talking about this first, the brothers within the LDBC. I want to give a shout out to the brother Too Raw for TV, um, aka Big Mike. If you haven't subbed to Too Raw for TV, definitely go sub to his channel. Historian of the highest order, has multiple channels and multiple platforms, and is one of the generals in the LDBC, one of the pillars. And got to give a shout out to the brother Luda Rider Sports, um, dope channel as well. Talks about a conglomerate of different things, and is one of the solid LDBC guys in the LDBC basketball community. So shout out to both of these guys for bringing this to everybody's attention. Now we're here to talk about this. Candace Parker pretty much has said that, you know, LeBron has more impact than Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. She said basically, quote, he, referring to LeBron, is unbelievable. He's an athlete that, if you talk about just on the court, he is better than Mike. I don't know. Is he better than Kobe? I don't know. He's definitely top five in my book, top three in my book. But in terms of impact as an athlete, like the platform that he's had, social justice and building schools and changing the way we think of athletes and business, he's number one for sure. Candace Parker, you know, you are out of line. What's up with it, Jelly Bean? I see you in the building. What's up with it, Luda Ryder? I see you in the building, man. True Viking. What's up, Queen? I see you in the building. Now, a lot of y'all don't know your history. A lot of y'all don't know what we were fighting for in the 50s, in the 60s, even in the 70s, even in the 80s, because there was still a fight in terms of racism that we were having to go through. Now, let's talk about Michael Jordan for a second, right? And I'm just gonna keep it basketball. Now, as far as basketball, I'm not gonna get into that debate. Everybody has their own choice. Some people have LeBron James as their GOAT. Some people have Michael Jordan as their GOAT. Some people have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar as their GOAT. That that right there, that debate right there will go on and on to the end of time. But let's talk about a business from a business standpoint. Okay. Now, everybody knows the whole saying that they always say: Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, They pretty much had established a change in the NBA, and once Michael Jordan had came in, he had took it to another level. Now, having said all of that, what people don't realize about the NBA, and I'm just talking about business for a second, and I will get into the social justice part and racism, things of that nature. What people don't have to understand is that the NBA for a long time was a drug infested uh, type of league in which it was a lot of disorganization going on within the teams, and David Stern had came in and pretty much impacted on cleaning up a lot of that stuff. A lot of people don't understand that. They just think that okay, well, it just changed overnight. No, it took a long time. They had to weed a lot of stuff out of there. Now when you brought Michael Jordan in, his marketability had set the standard for a lot of stuff, everywhere from his athleticism. Even though one could argue they've seen athletes like that before, when you talk about the elder Baylor, when you talk about the Connie Hawkins, when you talk about the Dr. J's, stuff like that, that's going to be an argument there. Yeah, I get all that from a basketball standpoint. But from a marketing standpoint, Michael Jordan was head and shoulders above everybody. And then on top of that, to this day, till this day, till this day, they are still wearing his shoes and they are still talking about him, man. And they're doing everything that they can, even to diminish this man's legacy, right? Now, was Michael Jordan a perfect person off the floor? Absolutely not. Was he a social justice advocate and all of that? Absolutely not. He wasn't into that. His job was to play ball, and that's what he said, and that's what he chose to do. Okay. However, all right, if we're going to talk about people that implemented change, you have to throw in there Oscar Robertson, who nobody talked about, who did a lot of stuff behind the scenes that nobody's talking about. You have to talk about Bill Russell. You have to talk about Jackie Robinson. You have to talk about Muhammad Ali, Jim Brown. Uh, on and on and on. We could talk about all those guys. And if you know some guys, guys and females, you could name them. We could even go even further onto the tennis scene. When we talk about Wilma Rudolph, when we talk about Arthur Ashe, people like that. When we talk about Jackie Robinson, okay, look, we're not talking about baseball or anything. We're talking about all sports. Look, you have to talk about Jackie Robinson. Look, was he in some people's eye the greatest baseball player? Absolutely not. Because some people have, guys like Babe Ruth and some of these other guys above Jackie Robinson. But in terms of social impact and breaking that color barrier, we have to talk about those guys. Let's talk about the 1966 Texas Western team in which they made a movie about, Glory Road, with Don Haskins in the NCAA. During that time, it was forbidden for you to start five African Americans, much less even playing more African Americans on the floor during that time. You got to throw a guy like a Don Haskins in there who is Caucasian and took a risk because he saw that color did not matter, right? Then you got to talk about that whole starting five, in which one of them I know personally, and I know his sons and everything. When you talk about Willie Cage, when you talk about Bobby Joe Hill, when you talk about uh, David Ladden, you know what I'm saying? When you talk about Willie Worth, when you talk about Neville Shedd, those guys right there, they're very important from the college thing, but people don't want to talk about that. People want to diminish the other guys just because of what they see. Candace Parker is on cap. She deserves a lifetime at Liz because she's capping so hard because she knows that there is an agenda. Bill Russell, guys like that, when we talk about the guys that played during that time, endured a lot of stuff that nobody's talking about, right? I've already said it before. These guys were getting spit at. These guys were had racial slurs. These guys' hotel rooms were being damaged and vandalized. These guys could not drink out of the same uh, water fountain, for instance, or they couldn't go in the same bathroom. When we talk about segregation, there was a lot of adjustments that they had to be made. Everybody wants to talk about, oh, well, this guy, got something thrown at him and stuff like that. Could you imagine what they were doing in the Boston Garden in the 1960s, in the 1950s? Could you imagine that? But nobody talks about Red Auerbach. You got to throw him in there. Yes, he Caucasian. Yeah, but not everybody was like that, and that's why you got to throw him, guys like him, and Don Haskins in there. Okay, look, LeBron, he's head and shoulders when it comes to Michael Jordan in terms of social issues, right? But Michael Jordan, not making no excuses for him because a lot of people did feel that he could do better off the floor, including myself. But I'm not going to sit here and come with the comparison because that Michael Jordan chose not to do that. Much like a lot of other athletes that did not choose to advocate for social justice. You said one of them, Gary from Indiana. Yeah, exactly. That was uh, Henry Flournoy. Flournoy. He's from Gary, Indiana. Exactly, Jelly Bean. You on point with that, Candace? Yeah, Candace. Yeah, she's gonna say anything right now to boost her to boost her because they're gonna be like, oh wow, she said that. And what sells? True Viking controversy. Controversy. You said a good movie. I saw the movie. Yeah, and there's a lot of truth to that. For instance, Stephen Green, a lot of people don't know that bathroom scene was real. That really happened. Uh, there were two white guys in the bathroom with Neville Shed. He went to go use the bathroom. They saw that he was in their bathroom, and they pretty much picked him up and put his face in the toilet. Two guys, two white guys, put him in the stall, put his face in the toilet. That shit on the butler, where they go into restaurants when they're not supposed to, and they sit in there, they throw water on them, they spit on them, they slap them up upside their head. That shit is real, and I'm not talking about athletes, but we're talking about regular people that chose to endure that so that they could make a change. Some guys were losing their life. I was just coming in there. You said my. I was about to say the same thing. She pushing the agenda. Yeah, exactly, exactly. Everybody, you got to throw Khalil Muhammad in there. If you saw my post, I was talking about Khalil Muhammad. Now he wasn't an athlete, and I'm not trying to digress or anything, but nobody talks about what Khalil Muhammad had did. There's very few guys that even mention him. But okay, he was an athlete, so I'll get off of that. But we have to bring him up when we talk about our people. When we talk about people selling their souls, pushing an agenda, things of that nature. And listen, I'm not gonna say listen, I'm not gonna say that about LeBron because LeBron is a family man. I'm a family man. LeBron has kids. I have kids. LeBron has a wife. I got a wife. LeBron is an African American. I'm an African American. LeBron has done some phenomenal things off the floor, hands down, right? But you can't say that he's the best because you have to go to the underline. You got to go back to the genesis of everything. But nobody wants to do that. You want to throw all these other guys in there. Now, a lot of people would be very offended by this. They would be very offended by this. Let's not put them head and shoulders above everybody else, Candace Parker. You got to throw everybody else in there. Yes, it's wonderful. And then I know silly motherfuckers is gonna get mad. They're gonna get in their feelings, trying to make a whole debate, talking about, oh yeah, LeBron is better this, LeBron is better that. It's not about that shit. It's not about that shit. Right. Yeah, you're right, Stephen Green. Controversy and the agenda people are pushing. I couldn't watch the Butler. Yeah, hey, like the Butler, I couldn't watch the Butler without getting upset. I couldn't watch A Time to Kill without getting upset. Right? Need I say more? I got mad at Glory Road. I could go on and on and on. Shoot, nobody talks about the movie Something the Lord Has Made with Most Def. All right, my last point, but and then I'm gonna make two last points, okay? Two last points because I wasn't gonna talk to y'all, that long. You know what I'm saying? But I see True Viking is up in here. I love when she comes. I see Stephen Green up here. Love when he comes. I see Jelly Bean up in here. Love when he comes. I see Luda Ryder in here. Love when y'all come. You know, because everybody in here I've had a conversation with. I've had a conversation with Stephen Green. I know his mind is in the right place. I've had a conversation with Jelly Bean. I know his mind is in the right place. Definitely Luda Ryder. We talk almost every day. And Luda Ryder knows about he's from the genesis of where Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay, is from. I didn't even mention Muhammad Ali because he's obvious. Muhammad Ali took a stance that was far, far head and shoulders above everybody else. I still haven't forgot about my last 2 points. Far he was willing, like Luda Ryder has said, he was willingly willingly to sit. He did it with no hesitation. Was able to go to jail, sacrifice his body. And if you don't know the sport of boxing, you have to stay with it. If you take time off, it is very difficult. Not taking anything away from football, not taking anything away from basketball, not taking anything away from baseball. But boxing, man, even a couple of months, you have to stay with it because if you don't, these other guys are going to eat you alive in terms of their quickness and everything else and agility, all that other stuff. So I want people to understand that when it comes to combat sports and stuff like that. That's why you have to train. They train. They train much harder than the average person. They do unhuman like things. That's why some guys, when you talk about piss and blood and stuff like that, that stuff is real. I don't mean to get so graphic, but it's real. Now he was able to make that. He was able to make that sacrifice that a lot of guys wouldn't be able to make. How many guys do you know would go to jail for that reason and willing to risk everything? Nobody talks about Craig Hodges. My first point. All right, Craig Hodges didn't get any. I mean, he rarely got any praise. Matter of fact, there were people that were going against him. There were people that were sweeping him up under the carpet, so to speak. Guys like Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, you could call him the first Kaepernick. And look, I don't agree with some of the things that Kaepernick did or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna sit up here and act like my brother was putting his pretty much his livelihood and everything else on the line. We got to put him up there because now everything is coming to the light with the NFL. Oh, but you don't want to thank Kaepernick. You'd rather focus on a motherfucker like Eminem who's kneeling and shit like that. Don't kneel now. I've already talked about that shit. You got to be very selective who the fuck you listening to on TV. That's why I don't pay them no fucking attention. Some of these guys have a fucking agenda. Right. Yeah, Craig Hodges. That'll be I'm laughing. Now, this is my last point right here. This is my last my this is a very a very key point to what I have to say right here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna end on this note. Okay, there are a lot of very sick people that want to just climb the ladder and do everything they can just to get that be in a position of power. Power is a wonderful thing. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing if you use it right, not abuse it. And see what people are doing is they'll start off one way. Candace Parker, hey, like I said, she's a tremendous athlete. One of the greatest basketball players that ever played a sport. Also a great analyst as well. But what Luda Ryder said was key, right? She's probably up in there trying to please people so that she could climb up the ladder and do what she was. Now she's saying all this in her opinion. What happened to Kobe? She used to be a Kobe lover. Nobody talks about the stuff that Kobe's done. Okay, yeah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Was he sitting there, out there like LeBron or something like that? Nah, not. But see, what you don't realize about Kobe and the Mamba is he did this stuff behind the scenes. There's a lot of people that did this stuff behind the scenes. Kyrie Irving built George Floyd's family a house behind the scenes. There's people that donate to charity, to the homeless, to under privileged families. Go to the homeless shelters. There's people that donate to different organizations and everything, and ask them not to say anything. That's my type. What are you doing for your fucking community? Right? I guess that's what I'm getting at here. What are you doing for your fucking community? Because those guys that I have just mentioned, besides LeBron, they've done a whole hell of a lot for the community. And if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do some of the stuff that we're doing right now. But nobody's talking about that. Jacob Jennings, I see you in the building. What's up with it, my G? Funky Town in the building. You have to know this type of shit. But we're so busy focused on these guys who people worship. In the grand scheme of things, man, if you're sick or in jail, if something happens to you, you have to ask yourself, are those guys gonna advocate for you? If our women were getting, are you know what I'm saying? Y'all feel that in. Are there gonna be 50 brothers in there trying to advocate for that? Right? Are y'all still gonna be able to, even function if one of our brothers gets shot? No, it's gonna be business as usual. You know why? Because we too busy killing each other, and they look at it from a standpoint. Chicago is an example. Dallas is an example. Miami is an example. LA is an example. Where we're out here killing each other, and they'll say, okay, well they're killing each other. So why are we gonna sit here and stop what we're doing? We have to really understand ourselves. We sitting here destroying ourselves, and we don't even know that we're doing it. This right here, and I'm digressing a little bit, but this right here, it really pissed me off about Candace Parker. She didn't need to say that. I think that she said that because she wanted to get some attention, and she didn't mean that. You gotta go back and you gotta do your research and everything. And look, I don't have anything against LeBron. Everybody, I know some people gonna mention the money and all that other stuff. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's wonderful and everything. What he's done, building schools and stuff like that. Yeah, but you can't put him number one. Matter you can't. You got to put all these guys. Um, you got to put all these guys first. You got to put all these guys first, man. Even I'm willing to even go back to the days when Jack Johnson. We can talk about that. Sugar Ray Robinson, guys like that, fighting way back in the days and having to go through and endure some stuff that they didn't want to endure. But they did it for us because they saw that. Look at where we're at today. We're able to sit in arenas with the Caucasian person or with the Hispanic person or with the Asian person and everything without there being any friction. Back in the days, it wasn't like that. So did LeBron do that? And I'm not making this about again. I'm not making this about LeBron. LeBron has been in the headlines too. I know about the whole Kobe situation stuff like that. I'm gonna talk about that shit too. Okay, I haven't forgot about that shit. Polo Sports Talking Entertainment, man. I'm gonna get at y'all later.